Greetings, people of the internet. Today I'm doing a sort of a retrospective video of GTA 5. A better retrospective video because GTA 5 last year had its 10-year anniversary, and I did a video on it, I believe, a while back. And I just wanted to kind of give sort of an updated retrospective to that because, GTA 5 is by far one of my all-time favorite video games, and it is one of those games where I revisit a lot. And I was actually just playing it the other day, and it got me thinking, how much has it changed? Not a lot, I can tell you that. DLC I don't really consider changes, because GTA 5 probably has more DLC than the Sims series combined. Yes, I'm talking Sims 1, Sims 2, Sims 3, and Sims 4, which all have their own dedicated DLC and all that mumbo jumbo, and I don't really want to talk about that right now. Anyway, so GTA 5 released in 2013, as everyone knows, and you control one of three characters, Michael, Trevor, and Franklin, and they all have their own problems to them. Michael is a retired criminal. Franklin is a newer criminal, fresh blood, or fresh meat, as one would say. And Trevor is a drug-addicted meth dealer who has been in crime longer than they both have. And Trevor is probably the main one with problems. He is a meth addict. He lives in a trailer. He's crazy, and he probably has the most problems out of them all. Now, what I like about each character is that Franklin is, in my opinion, one of the three, as I would compare them to the 3D Grand Theft Auto games, right? So, Trevor is obviously, Trevor is obviously Tommy from GTA Vice City. He is crazy, and he does not let anybody get away with his business. Tommy Vercetti, really great character, and I highly recommend you play Vice City. And Michael is more like Claude from GTA 3. He's more of a, simplistic, always is one to stick with the plan type person. He doesn't really like people messing with him, but it isn't exactly something that bothers him too much. And then Franklin is like CJ. Not because they're both black, but it does turn out that both voice actors for both characters are cousins, which is something that I found out a couple years back, and I was shocked about. And a lot of people were also shocked about. But I would consider, personality-wise, all three of those characters to be one of the three major people from the Grand Theft Auto 3D universe. And, Michael, I would also consider to be someone like Tony Cipriani, and CJ and Franklin being similar to kind of Vic Vance, or something along those lines. And they all just have their own characteristics to them that make them all special. And this was by far the first GTA game to have more than one playable protagonist, where each of the protagonists have a personality. GTA 1, you can play as a plethora of different people. Obviously, you can play as all those people within the same campaign, but they all just don't have the same personality. And also, GTA 2, I believe, also had multiple people you can play as. And just GTA 5 makes it so special because GTA 4 is a huge, huge counterpart from GTA 5. Because GTA 4 is just a single guy who he himself is looking for redemption. Trevor is basically like Nico Bellic, looking for redemption, but he isn't exactly looking for the same redemption. He's looking forward in a similar fashion, but not really the point of discussion. Basically, he doesn't like people betraying him. And that's kind of the main thing Trevor is that when somebody goes behind his back and does something that he does not like doing, he goes out and kills them. He goes out, tries to stop them from ever doing it again. And kind of like with Nico Bellic, is that he was once betrayed. He was once left behind and left in the dust by the people who basically took everything that he earned and stripped it away from him. Basically, is kind of what Trevor went through when, early on in the game, is that there were three robbers: him, Michael, and Brad. Brad got shot, Michael faked his death, and Trevor got away with basically no money to his name because Michael took everything. And he escaped that lifestyle because he, had to deal with the FBI or FIB. And that caused him to sort of shy away from not being a criminal anymore. And Trevor, he didn't change whatsoever because he doesn't really like change, which is a really important thing when you really look into his character because he doesn't like abandonment issues. I can tell you that. Because early on when you first play as Trevor, he doesn't really like the fact that the Lost MC kind of does their own thing and runs their business as if nothing was really happening outside of that world. And Trevor basically does everything to put the Lost MC buried 10 feet into the ground because they aren't exactly the greatest type of people. For example, one character, Johnny K, which is a character who unfortunately meets his demise the first time we play as Trevor, and he is buried 10 feet into the ground because he doesn't like the fact that, Trevor, his girlfriend. I intentionally didn't say it. But, yeah, so Johnny decides to take matter into his own hands, go to Trevor, express his anger. Trevor expresses his anger by bashing his head into the ground. And basically, Trevor goes to destroy the Lost MC, and every member left. And then later on into the main story, he meets his mother for the first time in a long time, and it turns out that his mother was just a figment of his imagination because his mother pops up and just disappears. And so Trevor himself doesn't like change. Michael is kind of a different beast because Michael sticks to a plan. And he says that a lot in the campaign because he doesn't really like going outside of those boundaries. Because if he's like robbing a bank and he sticks to a plan, he knows exactly how that plan is going to go. And if he changes just like a little small part of that plan, all hell breaks loose. Which is why Brad gets shot and then he gets shot. Which, a theory that I have for early on in the game is that shot originally was meant for Michael, but Dave missed Michael and shot Brad instead, and ended up killing Brad, and that's why he ended up shooting Michael afterwards, is because, Brad unfortunately got in the way and ended his life, unfortunately. Which, Brad died because of the choices that, Michael himself made. And that's kind of the main part of the story line, is that in the beginning, we see Franklin as just kind of like an apprentice a novice of some kind, and basically he isn't exactly experienced, and he does a bunch of repo missions for this guy who is a foreigner trying to rip people off by selling cars. And during a repo mission, he goes to repossess this guy's kid's car because the guy who sold him the car didn't like the fact that he was behind payments, which he overcharges a lot for his vehicles. And then we meet Michael, which Michael is later seen as sort of like a mentor to Franklin because Michael has experience in the business. He has an experience in the industry, and he knows exactly what to do and how to do it. And that's why for the very first major heist in the game, which is the jewelry store heist, Michael ensures that Franklin officially has a piece of knowledge on how to do heists because, stealing cars because people didn't exactly pay for the car all the way or late on payments isn't exactly a good way of doing heists. Uh, and Franklin, he does a lot of things because he is what a lot of people would consider loyal. If he has a job to do, he does that job, and that's kind of why he does the repo missions in the first place. Is because he was loyal to uh, whatever is the I don't remember what the dude's name is, uh, and that's kind of why he went to Michael in the first place. Is because that guy, I can't freaking remember his name right now, basically lost all respect for Franklin, and Franklin basically just needed someone to guide his way through life of crime, and so they eventually have to deal with the government, and they do a bunch of other heists that lead up to the last big score, which is them robbing by far the most impossible bank to get into, and they also get in trouble with this other guy and who rip him off for them having to steal cars for that dude. And they basically, by the end of the game, push him off of a cliff. They say their goodbyes and they leave crime for good. Kinda. You can still do crime after the main storyline is done, and all obviously depending on how you play it, there can be missions afterwards. But yeah, I'm not really good with thinking of names at the moment. But yeah, that's basically GTA 5 in a nutshell. It's a complicated story, and it's a lot longer than one would expect because GTA 5 or GTA games in general, if you really wanted to, you could complete the game within like a day or two, at least the main storyline. GTA 5 takes a very, 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 very long time to complete because there's also peyote plants you get to obtain where at one point you get to become Bigfoot. There's the Leonora Johnson case where you find 50 letter scraps, which I have completed, and I can confirm that the dude who kills Leonora Johnson isn't exactly the greatest guy in the world. Anyway, so there's also spaceship parts that you have to get. There's a bunch of other side missions that take by far the longest time of all the GTA games. Aside from GTA 4, GTA 5 takes the longest time out of all of them. Because if I'm not mistaken, I beat GTA 4 in like less than a day. Like in total, it took a very short amount of time to complete. And yeah, GTA 5 just takes absolutely fucking forever. But yeah, that is my well researched kinda retrospective on GTA 5. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed it. my god, this was one hell of a trip. I had to replay the game in order to prep for this video. If I can get back into the light. And it was just an interesting thing to revisit because GTA 5 I own on like most major platforms. I own it on Xbox 360, PS4. I own it on PS5 now. Yeah, my sister recently got a PS5, which is nice. I own it on PC and all this other crap. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm probably not going to do another retrospective video at least until next week. And don't worry, a lot more content is being planned because I got a new laptop, as you may have possibly seen in, my recent YouTube short. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.